As I often think about articles or little essays or stuff that I want to write, and because one thing that I've experienced, or I feel from time to time in my own life with family and friends, is that what happened to Nick? He kind of became a religious nut somewhere along the line, didn't he? Like he used to be so much different, and now what happened to him? And so I wanted to write an article and say how I became a religious nut, and talk about that, because the world has this idea. What did he get sucked into? Maybe he was predisposed because of his upbringing, or maybe he just did it to win over a girl whose dad was a pastor. What's that do? Maybe he just lost his mind. How did he become such a nut? Or maybe he had an encounter with the living God. You see, people don't usually consider that last one. What happens when people truly have an encounter with the living God? It changes them. All throughout the Bible, when somebody has an encounter with God, you better believe that they are not questioning it. They know, wow, this is different. People fall on their face before God. When Peter is out there fishing and they're not catching anything, and Jesus says, throw the net on the other side. Peter's like, come on, Jesus. We've been fishing all night. We haven't caught anything. But because you say it, I'll do it. They catch so many fish, they can't even bring the net back on the boat. So Peter runs out and falls down and says, no, away from me, for I'm a sinful man. Because he recognizes he's in the presence of the holy. Same thing in Isaiah chapter 6, when the prophet Isaiah sees the Lord high and lifted up, and he sees the angels floating there, and they're singing, holy, holy, holy. He falls down and says, no, Lord, away from me. Because when you have a true encounter with the living God, you cannot go on with your life the same way. You are changed. How did you guys become religious nuts? So the answer is, you've got it wrong. If I've encountered the living God, it would be a nut thing for me to do to ignore Him. It would be crazy for me to live my life like nothing happened. God changes our lives. He changes our perspectives for the better, because that is what we were made for. This completes our joy to be able to share that with others. I want to be joyful. I want life to be good. And one way that I pursue that is by telling other people about what God has done and what God has done in my own heart and my own soul, so that they too can come to know, love, and serve this God. So they too can come worship Him, because that would fulfill my heart. That would complete my joy.